Hello everyone, welcome to CloudLearn AWS Zero to Hero series. This is day 3, and in this video, we are going to learn how to secure our AWS account. In the previous video, we have seen what is an AWS free tier account and how to create it and all these things, right? And it's time to secure the AWS account. First, let us log into our Amazon account, which we created in the last video. And how to log in? Just open your browser, then type aws.amazon.com. Then on the top right corner, just click on the sign into the console and you will be taken to the login page. And here, don't get confused because for the AWS, there are two types of users available. One is a root user and the second one is a IAM user. We will discuss about these users in detail in the next video. Root user means he is the owner of the AWS account. How to log in? To log in as a root user, here you can see one option called sign in using a root user email. So what is this root user email? The email ID which we have used at the time of AWS account creation. As of now, we have only one user, which is a root user. He gets complete permissions, like full control on the AWS account. He's the owner. Now click on that sign in using root user email. Then here, enter the email address, the one which we have used at the time of account creation. Let me select this email, the cloudlearn@gmail.com. This is the one which we have used. Click on next and then the password. Done. Okay. For now, what I do is, what it is asking, keep your account secure, which means as of now, we have only username and password. In this case, username is nothing but the email ID, right? How able to log in to the AWS account using the email and the password combination, just like one-step verification. Now, how can we secure, like what are the different ways that we can secure our any account, not only the AWS? How can you secure your online accounts and all? The first thing, by using a complex password, like not using password at the rate 123, welcome at the rate 123 kind of things. Complex password with minimum like 10 characters, 12 characters, 14 characters, combination of like uppercase, lowercase, numbers, right? It depends on your organization policy. Then the most important thing is multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication, which we call it as MFA. Few people call this as a two-step verification also. What exactly this multi-factor authentication? Instead of one-step validation or one-step verification, they will perform two-step verification to allow you to log into the account. I will give you a simple example to understand this multi-factor authentication better. Let us say you have some bank account, let us say SBI, right? So you want to transfer some money to your friend. Then what you will do first, you will log in, right? You will log into SBI online account. How you can log in? Using the username and a password. Using the username and a password. This is one-step verification or one-step validation. Then the moment once you are transferring the money, they will verify you using a OTP, right? One-time password. There is a second step verification. Instead of allowing you to log in with a single step verification, they will perform two-step verification. Always, most of the cases, the second step verification will be dynamic. Username and password are static, right? They are fixed forever until you change it. So someone might guess your password and username and they can log in. But the OTP, nobody can guess, right? Because every 10 minutes or every 5 minutes, based on your bank's policy, it will get changes, right? The same way, we can secure our AWS account using multi-factor authentication. Just few minutes ago, how we logged in? using email address and a password. This is the combination, right? This is a one-step verification, single step verification or a single factor authentication. By adding a dynamically changing code, like whenever you are logging in by providing the email address and password, it will ask you to dynamically changing 6-digit code. That is what two-step verification or a multi-factor authentication. How to enable multi-factor authentication? To enable multi-factor authentication, to enable multi-factor authentication, we must have multi-factor authentication device. To enable MFA, we must have MFA device. MFA, a device. There are two types of devices available: physical MFA device or a virtual MFA device. Physical MFA device and a virtual MFA device. Physical MFA device means there should be a physical device which looks like different varieties are different. What do we call that? Different devices are there. One which we have to connect to your laptop at the time of login, or there are few MFA devices which have some looks like as your pen drive, but it has a small screen on which 6-digit code will be generated. We can call them as the RSA keys. I will show you the images to understand that better. Virtual MFA device is apps. I can say example mobile app. If you ask me examples for virtual MFA device applications, the best example is Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, Dio Mobile. There are multiple things. Whatever you prefer or whatever you feel you are comfortable with using, you can use that. So first, what we have to do to enable MFA on your AWS account, I don't want to purchase a physical device or something. So obviously, I will use a virtual MFA device. First thing, install, I would like a Google Authenticator. Install Google Authenticator on your mobile phone. Then we have to proceed with enabling MFA on your AWS account. Okay, now let me go to my AWS account. So let us say I would like to skip for now, or I will show you here. See here, what is this pass key or a security key, which you have to connect to your laptop at the time of login. Authenticator app, which we are going to use. Hardware TOTP token, which looks like this, which has a small screen, right? Which has a small screen on which the 6-digit code will be generated randomly. Okay, what I do is, because few people might click skip for now accidentally, right? So without relogin, how can we enable multi-factor authentication? Let us see that. So let me show you MFA TOTP device. Just let me show you the images. Yeah, these are the examples for physical MFA devices, which has some screen and on which the code will be generated every 1 minute or so for AWS, or I can say RSA secure ID device. Yeah, these are the examples. These all are the examples from different manufacturers. Okay, right now let us move on to our AWS account to enable multi-factor authentication. How to enable the multi-factor authentication? The moment once you log into the AWS account, on the top right corner, on the top right corner, you can see your account name, right? Click on that account name, click on the account name, and then click on security credentials. Click on security credentials. Then it will takes you to a service, but we haven't covered this service yet. This is the first service which we are going to start in the next video. So here you can see, sorry, you don't have MFA assigned. And recommendation, as a security best practice, we recommend you assign MFA. So first, take your mobile phone, install Google Authenticator application if it is not yet installed, right? And then here, click on assign MFA. So give some device name. I can say my mobile, means I can identify, or I mean, I'm identifying the devices. My mobile, because this application, I'm using my mobile phone as a virtual MFA device. Then here, select Authenticator app, click on Next. Okay, if you want to see the list of compatible applications, just click here. It will display the list of compatible applications and all. Just go through this particular document page, and it will display all the compatible applications. Okay, so here click on Show QR code. And in your Google Authenticator app, you can see one option called plus. Plus at the bottom right corner of your Google Authenticator application. Click on that, and you can see scan a QR code. Scan it. Yes. So now I can see one entry, Amazon Web Services, my mobile @ my account ID. Now it started displaying 6-digit code. Now what I have to do, I need to enter two consecutive codes. The code will generate every 60 seconds. So first I entered the code which I can see on my mobile Google Authenticator app. I'm waiting for the next code to be generated, which will happen in the 60 seconds. Every 60 seconds, the code will get regenerated. Sorry, I think it's a 30 seconds, not a 60 seconds, 30 seconds. Okay, now I got a new code. And here you must remember that you have to enter the two consecutive codes. You should not miss any code between these two. Based on that, it will identify your Google Authenticator application. Okay, done. Now, how to verify whether our MFA has been activated or enabled on your AWS account? Let us log out first. How to log out? Click on your account name on the top right corner and click on sign out. Done. Now let me sign in again. Earlier, we were able to sign in with the help of just email address and password. But from now onwards, it must ask you to enter the one-time code, which is available on your MFA device. In our case, Google Authenticator app is going to be the MFA device. Okay, so here let me click on sign in using root user email. Next, let me enter the password. Click on sign in. Now, instead of logging in, it is asking me to enter MFA code. If you enter the correct MFA code, then only you will be able to log in. Means two different verifications. One is username and password verification, then the code verification. This is how we have to enable multi-factor authentication on our AWS account. We are not yet done. We are not yet done. Multi-factor authentication is done, but I can't say my account is got secure. Why? Going forward, I will create different users in my AWS account for my employees, for my team members, and everyone. But they can't take the security as a serious threat. So they might use passwords as like 123456 or ABCDEF or welcome 123 password 123 kind of a thing. So what I have to do, I want to create a password policy for my AWS account so that every user in my AWS account must follow that password policy. Policy is like some rules which we are going to enforce, right? Okay, let us say you are working for a company, you are working for a company, and every company might have a different policies, right? And Mike, your company is having a password policy as like minimum number of characters as a 10, means the password length must be 10. They can't use a password with 8 characters or so, and must contain uppercase character, must contain lowercase character like small letter, capital letter, then must contain in number and must contain a special character. What is a special character? Like at the rate hash. These are the special characters. And password must be changed every 90 days. Means no one can use a password for more than 90 days. They must change the password, right? These are the password policies of your organization. Simple thing. If you go your net banking, right? You can't use the same password forever. Every 3 months, they will force you to change the password. Now, how to configure? Now, how to create a password policy on AWS account as per the organization requirement? Because every company will have their own requirements, right? But 10, they won't, no one will use a 10 characters as a password. Because for my simplest way is to create with a 10 for learning purpose. I don't want to use like 14, 20 characters and I can't remember everything. Now let us see how to create the password policy, right? Okay, now let us go to your AWS account, click on your account name, click on security credentials. So here, can you guess where how it looks like and all? On the left side, click on account settings. Under access management, click on account settings, and there is a password policy, default password policy. What is the default password policy? Minimum 8 characters, which is the what we call that least secured password. Now let us going to change that password policy for the entire AWS account. From now onwards, everyone must use a password as per the new password policy. Click on edit. I don't want to use a default password policy. Click on custom. What are the things? Minimum is a 10, must contain uppercase, lowercase, number, special character. So select all these. Turn on password expiration. If I select this and if I say 90, after 90 days, the existing password will expire. If the user won't change the password within 90 days, he can't use the same password again. If the password got expired, then the password to be reset by the administrator if I enable this checkbox. But I don't want to enable that. I will uncheck that. So what happens? Let us say if you are logging to the AWS account on 92nd day after setting the password, on 91st day or 92nd day, you are logging into the AWS account, which means you are logging in using an expired password. Then what happens? Amazon will force you to password change page. Once you enter the correct username and the correct old password, it will force you to a page where you must change the password. And this is a mandatory thing. Allow users to change their own password so that whenever they want to change their password, they can change their own password, not someone else's password. And then prevent password reuse. And let me select 3 passwords. What is this? What is prevent password reuse? If you know, just comment in the comment section. I will explain again, but if you know about what is the prevent password reuse, just comment in the comment box. Prevent password reuse means if the user is using the previous 3 passwords as a new password, there is of no security, right? So my company don't want to allow the users to use the previous 3 passwords as a new password. If they don't want to allow 5 passwords, then I have to set 5, right? Select all these and click on save changes, click on set custom. So from now onwards, The new password policy has been applied on our new AWS account. So we have secured our AWS account in two different ways. One is the root user got secured by enabling multi-factor authentication. And in the future, whatever the users we are going to create for our employees and for team members, we are forcing them to use a complex password so that their user accounts also got secure, right? This is about how to secure our AWS account. If you have any questions about the multi-factor authentication and a password policy, just feel free to ask the questions in the comment box so that I can answer your questions. Okay, this is for the day 3. And in the next video, we are going to start our first AWS service called Identity Access Management. Thank you, everyone. We'll meet on day 4 video with Identity Access Management service. Thank you, everyone. Keep learning.